So tell me about the pitch. Who came up to you guys, and was it all five of you at once? Did someone pull you aside? Tell me the Spirit Squad pitch.
Yeah, well, I wasn't supposed to be in the Spirit Squad originally. It was supposed to be Mitch, Kenny, Ziggler, and Elijah Burke, actually. And Elijah Burke turned down the gimmick, turned down the idea. He didn't want to do it. So I remember I was home for, it might have been Christmas or Thanksgiving, and Tommy Dreamer called me and he's like, hey, can you make it to TV? In East Rutherford, I can't say it, New Jersey, Continental Airlines Arena. There we go.
There we go.
And he's like, yeah, get some highlights in your hair, look like Nemeth. And I went down there. Dreamer put me in front of Stephanie McMahon, and Stephanie was like, yep, that'll work, And but to answer your question, it was a Vince McMahon idea. And, Vince, that was his vision, and he wanted five guys to be able to pull off the gimmick. So just by the look alone, that's how I got the job, and they put me on the road right after that for a little trial run, and knocked it out of the park. And then after that, I was the newest member of the Spirit Squad. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how did they pitch it to you? Did they say, we just want 5 male cheerleaders? Did they tell you where it was going, or how much information did they give you at first?
Yeah, they just wanted, just Vince had a vision. He wanted 5 cheerleaders. It's never been done before on television. It'd be something that's different, It was his idea, so he was going to push it to the moon, which he did. He kind of threw us right into the main events right away, working the top guys. They put the tag belts on us within a couple months of the gimmick debuting. And that's, it was kind of just one of those things where Vince's idea, let's bring it to life. And it was just a matter of getting the guys together to do it. And originally it was supposed to be 4 guys, and then we added Johnny at the last minute to be the 5th member. So yeah, it was just his idea, and he just wanted to put that on TV. So it's pretty much how it went down. Happened fast.
It's when you think of, okay, my big break, it's like, okay, I want to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. I want to be The Rock. I want to be this. I want to be that. A male cheerleader, it's like, oh gosh, when you think about that gimmick, that's an awesome way to get out in front of people, and just the heat it would generate. If anyone rolls their eyes at a gimmick like that, they don't understand pro wrestling, because that is pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And you must think to yourself too. It's a little new. It's a little maybe controversial, but it's your foot in the door. You're a young guy. How else? If you say no, I went to Nitro. Okay, I wanted to beat Billy Kidman for the Cruiserweight title. They threw me and Crowbar in there to get squashed by Hall and Nash. If I said no, guess what? 1,000 guys behind me would have said, I'll do it. So you got to take what they give you. Was that always your attitude?
Yeah, pretty much. I was looking at that like that was like my break, and that was the way of getting my foot in the door. And that's why I was like, when Elijah turned it down, I never really could understand it, like, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because I was like, man, that was like your ticket in. Yeah. So like, that was like a ballsy move on his part. And like for me, like what I was telling you earlier, it was in a more of a rougher time in my career. I kind of like lost my identity, so to speak. And for me, it was just an idea for me to embrace and finally get on the road, and get that experience. And, if it's a Vince McMahon idea, it's going to work, and it's going to push it to the moon. And that's exactly what I did. And yes, we all want to be the next, Stone Cold Steve Austin. We want to be the next Rock. We want to be the next Hogan, big name to main event and everything like that. And those were still my aspirations. But I looked at this as like a good way to get my foot in the door. Let me show them what I can do. Let me show that I can work with the top guys and hang with the big boys and everything like that. 'Cause I was only 23 at the time. I was a boy in a man's world. And that's exactly what happened. We got there. We started feuding with DX, with Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, Dusty Rhodes, Sergeant Slaughter. Just to name a few of the talents that we work with, and just what a great experience. I really learned, really elevated my game to the next level, and I definitely wouldn't trade that knowledge and that experience in for the world. It was great.
Talk to me about the other 4 guys. Johnny Jeter. I was a big fan of his. I used to get the OVW tapes. He was a hell of a worker. Great worker, Johnny Jeter.
Yeah, Johnny was awesome. Yeah, Johnny was great, man. I remember when I just got down to OVW, he had just gotten signed, and they were pushing him to the moon on OVW TV, and just a natural talent. He was athletic. He had the look. He can cut a promo. Jimmy Cornette was pushing him as like the next Ricky Morton on OVW TV. Just a really talented individual and super nice guy. Like good friend of mine to this day. Just did a podcast with him actually a couple days ago. And I don't know if you know him or not, but he really it was cool to really be able to tag with him and have matches at the big show with him.
Who is Mitch? That's the only guy of the group that I have no idea who he was before, and I don't think he did anything after. And hold on,
Yeah, no.
Did he date Tori Wilson?
What's that?
Did he date Tori Wilson?
He did. He did date Tori Wilson for quite a long time. Actually, he met her on the road when we were up there. And just to put it in a nutshell, Mitch was a guy. He came from Tough Enough, and he didn't win Tough Enough, but they still hired him. And they sent him down the Deep South, and Mitch had a lot of natural charisma and personality to him. He didn't know a thing about wrestling. He couldn't tell you a wrist lock from a wristwatch, but he was a guy that had personality. He had charisma. He had a look to him, and he just fit the role, and sometimes he wouldn't make the best decisions backstage, which kind of trembled and fell on us, a lot of times, getting heat sometimes and whatnot. That was just like, why are you doing this? Because, it's like you're a tag team. If one guy messes up, you all messed up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, just a little immature in that aspect, he's a guy that pretty much just started wrestling and was like, here you go. We're going to give you freaking everything. We're going to put the belts on you. You're going to work with the top guys. You're going to be the main events, and
you're going to date Tori Wilson?
You're going to date Tori Wilson.
Oh.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah,
forget about the main events. That is the main event. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she was a sweetheart, man. She was awesome.
Mm-hmm. So else we got Johnny, we got Mikey, we got Mitch, we got Dolph Ziggler. Tell me about him.
Yeah, then. Dolph. I was actually I helped train Dolph actually when he first started in OVW, and I didn't like train him per se, but like Lance Storm would use me a lot to teach him and Bobby Lashley when he first came down to OVW. But he became one of my best friends and still is to this day. We still keep in touch every now and then through texting and stuff like that. But he was just a guy that had a lot of natural just talent. He was an amateur wrestler coming up, and he just one of those guys. Like even when we were on the road, he would like get in the ring before the shows, to roll around and to kind of just really, improve his skill set and stuff like that. And he was just a very persistent. He was going to be one of the best. And I think from his hard work and dedication, it shows that to this day. Because he had a run after the Spirit Squad ended and is doing very well to this day. Still has a job up there, so that's great for him, And he's a good guy, deserves all this success, and I'm just very happy for him.
But he never dated Tori Wilson. Sorry,
didn't date Tori Wilson.
I gotta move on. Neither have I.
What's that?
Okay, neither have I.
Yeah, me neither.
All right, who else we got? What's the last guy?
Kenny.
Kenny Doan. Yes, tell me about him.
Yeah, Kenny. He's he was signed when he was I want to say 19 years old. And it's something we've all, like, with the exception of Mitch, we all have the common ground that we came up in OVW in Louisville, Kentucky. So we all knew each other, so we got a head start there where, it wasn't like we were working with each other day after day and don't have a clue like what we can do. So we had that, we had that chemistry right off the bat. But Kenny was just a supernatural athlete from day one. I remember when it was on TV, Vince requested that be me and him that we wrestle on TV. When like the tag titles were on the line and stuff. And Kenny's the type of guy, and we've also like wrestled like post Spirit Squad, like later on and stuff like that. Like we can have a match and not call a thing, but just always be on the same page. Like I know what he's gonna do when I get in there, and vice versa. When he gets in there, I know what he's what he's going to do. And it was just like, we just had that natural, that instinct, that chemistry, and just what a smart individual. You know, he really gets a lot out of doing less is more. Really, you know, and I always felt very confident whenever I was teaming with Kenny. I just, you know, would just go in there. I know I have his back and he's got my back. And yeah, we just killed it every time we got in the ring. You know, just one of those guys that some guys you click with, some guys you don't. But Kenny was a guy, you know, I really I clicked with, and he's one of my really good friends. And I know that might sound redundant, but he's one of my best friends. And you know, he came down from my mom's funeral. I remember, I'll never forget that. He lives in Massachusetts, and then he drove right back. You know, so he's so many people you meet in wrestling, you know, but not so many people. I'm sure you can relate to that. That, you know, you count on one hand who you still keep in touch with and stuff like that. And he was always like just a really good close friend of mine, and still is to this day. And I'm very happy for his success today. He's a producer now in WWE. He's in charge of extra talent. Yep. Nice. He's coaching, I think, too. He's a man of many tasks right now. So couldn't be happier for the guy. I wish all the best to him.
That's great.